Hello, all you internet marketing teams out there. My name is Serena Balea, and I am here to make sure that if you're a brand or you're an influencer, you're getting the best out of partnerships. And I've got one of the most important videos today, which is understanding your partnership contract. I thought that it would be most beneficial to brands and influencers if I went through an example contract and looked at the terms that you need to understand, and also just gave my 2 cents as a third party, as a medium person of why these things should be considered. And I'm going to do my best to address influencers and brands in this.
So here we go, guys. This is my base template for when I usually generate these partnerships. So the title, which should always say the brand that is doing the sponsoring, and of course the influencer. All of the details in here I have just made up, but I'm going to tell you where you slot in all the things that you need. The purpose of this contract, especially for somebody that's an agent, is to ensure that there is a mediator, especially if there's any disputes, disagreements. It helps any blocks if you have an agent to be able to just understand both sides and literally come up with an agreement which is cemented within this document. There will be contributions by the influencer and there will be contributions by the brand. Of course, the brand contributions is monetary. The influencer contributions is content. That is the asset. That's your craft. So always understand that that's your output. So always include the influencer's profile handle, which I would put over here. Always try to really be specific with exactly where you want the content, what channels is it going on, and how much of it do you want. You need to know these things before even diving into a partnership deal. It would be best to have a template like this already made before you actually start. Main deliverables. Know what you want by the end of this partnership. If you want a video, a long video or a short video that you can use as ads, this will basically break down exactly what you want that ad to look like, what you want it to involve. Also, don't forget to put deadlines in here. Deadlines are super, super important just with any freelance work. I have a fake brief here, which would be for your company, but this would be something that the influencers can use as a guide. So maybe think about the timestamps that you want. If it's a long YouTube with video, what information do you want to put out there? Know this, have it condensed, and understand it is a guideline. It's not a strict template of what you want the content to look like, because more usually you're sending this to more than one person and you want all the content to differ. So express that it is just a guideline. Duration is probably one of the most overlooked, especially when it comes to how long that brand will get to use your footage for. The longer the duration, the more valuable that contract is. And if you don't know how much you should be charging, don't ask the brand how much you should be charging. Don't do it, because they will definitely get the impression that you should be doing it for free if you don't know.
I would like to take this moment to enter a disclaimer that I am not a lawyer. And the contracts I deal with are quite small in comparison to larger agencies, anywhere between 1,000 to 50,000. If you have a contract that is 100,000 or more, you absolutely should seek legal advice.
So compensation structure. Compensation structure will vary throughout everybody's influencer career. It's good to know a payment structure that you're comfortable with. A lot of freelancers do 50% up front, 50% after the post. A lot of what I've seen in influencer management is a full compensation only after the post. So you get to decide those terms. Every freelancer gets to decide their own terms. And like I said previously, I deal with much smaller budgets. So the larger the budget gets, kind of the more that's at stake, the more complicated your compensation structure will be. You may get royalties. You may have an affiliate link that will generate commission for you. And you will need to define and understand the payments for each of those things. But the base core payment of what is happening is you are getting paid for the production of a video. And as with any videographer, it usually gets charged per minute of a finished video. And you can set that rate to what you are expecting. And and if you don't know, I would say look at what other videographers are charging without the platform. And then you'll get a sense or an idea as to how much your assets are worth. So after you have an agreed compensation structure, which I suggest that you have one already prepared, or you have options already prepared, and that makes the decision easier for the brand. Then you can get down to the granular of when you want to be paid and exactly how you want to be paid. Always have an invoice with your account details, address, and all the important things for those 1099s and other tax stuff. Yes, so always make it very clear in the agreement payment terms. Right now, getting on to the requirements. A requirement is something that you absolutely must include in the content. It's not guidelines. Requirements is what you actually need to do in order to claim the compensation. So in the requirements, if you're a brand, you will need to think about things like hashtags that you want included, the correct links that you want included. Do you want to be tagged? Do you want your location tagged? You have to make sure that the influencer has all this information in this document. Some people require wording for certain videos, but yes, be sure to include everything in the requirements. If you want to do a guideline so you don't have the same content for every influencer, you can make that in a separate document. But yes. Also, it should be noted that under requirements, you should always be in accordance with the FTC or wherever your jurisdiction dictates what you should do for paid partnerships. Usually it's hashtag ad. Yes, but depending on where your business is based, that is where you should make sure that your contract is compliant, because every international business works different. If you're a brand in one country and an influencer in another, you will need to make a contract that actually serves both countries. Copyright and distribution. This is one of the biggest things in media. This is actually where you start to understand how much your content is worth. This is also called licensing. So if you are someone that has very high value content that you think can be licensed for TV shows and other media placements, then this is where you'd look in your contract to see if they are going to do it, or you want to charge more for a distributor to handle your content. So this is something to really consider when companies are asking you to make content. You need to know if there are any advertisers involved, distributors involved, and other media placements. Any media placements that aren't on this contract, you are in full rights to sue and get more compensation if this brand or business uses your content for licensing for other commercial products or TV shows, streaming services, things like that. So yeah, if you want an indication of how big your one YouTube video could get, this is the clause of that contract. Who has the rights to the content? I usually say fair rights to both parties. That's in my best interest, is that both parties have fair rights. It would be something like if you have footage to use within an app or an education service, something like that, then the brand would want to have full ownership of the content. And then you would have to let go the creation that you made.
So there you have it. I've gone through some of the terms and conditions in a very basic partnership. I would love to see or hear other people's experiences, what they've heard, and what I'm missing, because I love to improve on everything that I have. So thanks.